Hi all. I really think that chess is a remarkable and beautiful game, and I was inspired to do this video by some radical ideas proposed by a dear friend of mine, who is fairly new to chess, and I've sort of taking the role of the advisor, trying to teach him what I believe is a healthy set of principles and heuristics. But being a wildly creative person, my friend has challenged my more or less dogmatic approach to the game with some radical and at times even absurd ideas of his own. For instance, he has adopted a middle game strategy, which he has dubbed the king attack. And when a normal chess player talks about a king attack, we're talking about attack against a king, but my friend is talking about attack with a king. The basic idea of his strategy is to develop the king as an attacking piece when the formal development of the other pieces is finished. I've of course advised against this, arguing that the king should be protected rather than exposed, implying that the attacking power of the king is completely counteracted or overshadowed by his vulnerability. Also, I've said that this rule of thumb changes when the game approaches or reaches the endgame phase, where there are less pieces on the board, the monarch isn't threatened as much, checkmate is more unlikely, and the king is safer. But, as I said, chess is a remarkable game, and my friend's idea may prove to be much, much deeper than I thought at first. And I noticed this when I found the game that I'm about to show, and this game really shows how this can be the case. It's an absolutely brilliant game, played between Grandmaster Nigel Short and Grandmaster Timman, of both players of world-class caliber, and it's just a remarkable and beautiful game. I feel Nigel was white and opened with e4, to which Timman replied with the Alekhine defense, and by the way, this game was played back in 1991. To those of you who may not know this opening, it may seem very strange, not establishing a pawn in the center and so forth, but it is a sound and actually pretty good opening, the basic idea of which is to lure the white pawns forward like this, which is the correct move, attacking the knight, and then later when the pawn has been lured forward, attacking them. The black army wants to attack them from the side with both pawns and pieces. So this is the main line, one of the main lines, and the game just develops very naturally. The bishop is getting ready to come on the classical diagonal. The light squared bishop of white is developed, attacking the knight. The knight jumps back, attacks the bishop, and the bishop drops back and is now placed on a nice diagonal, attacking the always vulnerable f7 square. Like if you were just starting out starting out with chess, you've probably been checkmated on f7 or f2 quite a lot of times. These are world-class grandmasters, so of course this is not about to happen, but instead it's just normal development of the pieces, and now the queen enters the game, taking a bit in the center. The knight is developed, and you can see the inner logic of the Alekhine defense, how the black pieces naturally flow to squares in just one or two moves, attacking the the pawns that has been lured forward and may prove to be weak later on. So Black has invested some moves in reaching this idea. One move here, then here, and then here with the knight. But current assessment of this position is that it is more or less completely equal. Both sides castles, and h3 is played. The idea with h3 is very simple. I've drawn some lines here and arrows just to deprive g4 from the bishop, so the knight cannot be pinned to the queen. And now we get some draw some lines on the queen side where how the pawn structure will be, which actually changes radically and looks a bit weird later on in the game. But then there is some exchanges, and so Jan Timman played e6, saying that the bishop will not function on this diagonal, but it's more likely to come out via this diagonal and work together with the other pieces in what is called a double fianchetto formation, with both bishops placed on these squares attacking the long diagonals. So knight is developed, and this here is, I suspect this is where either Jan Timman's opening preparation ran out from this position, or that knight to d5 was a new idea of his. Whatever the case, it is the first original move of the game, to which has not been played since it is not actually a it's not the strongest move. It offers white a small advantage, and between you and me it wouldn't be no problem, but between these genius guys, you don't want to offer any sort of advantage of any kind, because they can grind and build on these advantages like you wouldn't believe, which is actually the case in this game. So very simple answer from Nigel Short, just putting the knight on f3, attacking the queen, gaining a tempo to develop the bishop on c1. So the queen just moves, the white queen takes a bit in the center, and a queen exchange is offered. And here we see a radical change of pawn structure, which also may seem strange to weaker players like you or me, because we're always told that we want pawn islands, we want the pawns to be connected, we want them to be able to defend each other, and we do not want double pawns, we do not want isolated pawns, and it shows class to know when this is the case and to know when this is not the case. So we see the first move, bishop to c4 from Nigel Short, and the knight just jumps back, and here we just see b3. So I would have played the same move as Timman here, just taking, thinking that these 3 pawns are weak and that I must have some sort of advantage being able to attack these pawns. They're doubled on the c file, they're isolated, there must be some way to win them somehow. There isn't, and the position is still there's a small nagging advantage to white. The rook is sort of half developed, nothing much happens, but white has more play and more perspective in his plan. The rook goes to d1, entering the open file. That is where rooks like to be, and the queen is moved like, notice how many moves this queen is making, and the rook on a1 a8 is not really participating, and the bishop on c8 is also not really developed. Nigel plays this move, which is preparing attack against the king. Also, it is collaborating with the rook on this d file, because it is attacking d8, making this maneuver that is Nigel Short is about to play possible, which increases his advantage. First, he attacks the queen, winning a tempo. The queen drops back, and this could look like now the queen is on a good square, because it can work together with the bishop, creating maybe some dangerous threats against g2, and maybe a checkmate could happen or something. So what happens? Well, Nigel Short just continues with his plan. Now he wants to get rid of this dark squared bishop, because soon the knight cannot defend this, because there will be checkmate threat like this. So that is one of the more simple reasons that he wants to get rid of this dark squared bishop. Also, he wants to get rid of it because it simply is defending the king, and Nigel is out for the kill in this position already. But not with tactical shots, no, like grandmasters play with positional pressure. The bishop drops back. Timman knows that he cannot afford to lose his defending piece, and now, kablow, the rook enters the game.